G'day folks, welcome back to Pete's Investing. It's January 22, 2024. This is the natural gas price update with some ETFs included, including BOIL, UNG and KOLD. We're going to cover also some macroeconomic viewpoints at the end of the video. So overall the trend is bearish on all time frames, and we did have a divergence on the hourly chart and that has failed, so we'll cover that in a second. First we've got the natural gas price, so you can see here on the weekly, daily and hourly. The CCI 400, our trend indicator, is basically broken to the downside and bearish on all time frames, so overall bearish on natural gas. On the weekly, first off, on the CCI 150, that's our divergence indicator. There's no divergence currently. We did have a couple of bearish divergences back here, so that the price fell off in each of those instances, and we're currently sitting at this point and the price is moving in line with the CCI. So on the daily, that's also broken down on our trend. The CCI 150 has got no divergence to talk of, but you'll notice the price has broken through the 2210 support line, and that was a key area to look out for. So that's a very, very bearish outlook so far for nat gas. On the hourly, we did have a bullish double bottom here on the CCI 150 in our last video, and there was some possibility of a bounce from there. But since the CCI is broken below that point there, the divergence has failed. So we're going to mark that divergence as a failure. And that's what would have been the target point had it bounced from there, but it didn't. So we're going to mark that as a failure, and we're going to remove that Fibonacci, no longer valid. So that divergence has failed. So at the moment, still new lows happening and there's no divergence in play. So we're going to continue on from this one and just monitor how far it can go. At the moment, there's no sign of a reversal yet on the price, and that was our previous support at 2210. Next, we'll look at the ProShares Ultra DJUBS, BOIL ticker. You can see there the weekly and the daily are both bullish on our CCI 400, and the CCI 150 is moving in line with the price, so there's no real divergence to talk of on both of those. You can see there as well there's a 2380 support. It's bounced up, hit the 4070 resistance, and it's now approaching that support level again. So, and that resistance happened to be just short of the 38% Fibonacci retracement of that wider range. So again, there's no divergence to talk of on the daily. On the hourly, not much change happened since we on our last video because of the ETF trading hours haven't opened yet, but still a bearish outlook. Next we've got United States Natural Gas Fund, UNG. Again, this hasn't changed from our last video. Bearish on the weekly, bearish, somewhat bearish to neutral on the daily, and bearish on the hourly. And again, the price hasn't changed from our last video. On the daily, you can see there the price is now approaching the 453 support level. And lastly, we'll look at the ProShares Ultra Short Bloomberg Natural Gas Fund, which is KOLD. So that's somewhat bearish to neutral on the weekly. Now the daily is broken up through the moving average after a bit of a break to the downside. It's broken up and making slightly new highs. You can see there's a nice big bounce at the end of the last video, and it bounced off that 65 support level. And in terms of Fibonacci, you can see there on the hourly chart, it's actually rested on the 61%. So it could bounce to the downside from there or continue further to the upside, so we'll keep an eye on that. And the CCI 400 is also in an upward move in line with the CCI 150. Again, no divergence yet to talk of. Now in most videos I'll try and include a trading idea for you. So here we've got on the hourly, let me just blow that up. I've got a strategy here to sell when the CCI 150 breaks below the zero line and it hits the minus 100. That'll be your close or exit strategy on that trade. Now in this case it would have continued downwards, so no stress, just take the profits where they do arrive, and again only trade in the direction of the trend, which is based also on as well as the hourly, also based on the daily preferably. So when you're trading these smaller time frames, make sure they're trading in with the larger time frame trend. So again, there would have been a couple of sell points there and a close there, so you would have possibly either gotten out with a stop loss on that one, or if you average down, you would have averaged down with a break even around sort of somewhere in the middle there, and that would have been a nice little gain to make. Next, we're looking at some key trends on the natural gas price. So we're looking at the upward pressure on price for LNG exports and increasing demand for LNG in Europe and Asia due to cold weather and energy supply uncertainties. Storage levels have an impact, with lower than average for this time of year, raising concerns about winter supply adequacy and geopolitical tensions, obviously, with the war in the Ukraine and the Middle East. There's downward pressure on prices as well, with economic slowdowns, potential for weakened global economic growth and lower energy demand pricing, and warm winter weather can have a milder than expected winter, can have reduced the heating demand and put downward pressure on natural gas prices. In terms of supply and demand, production expected to remain steady in the near term. Demand increasing domestic consumption for industrial and residential sectors, and technological advancements with the carbon capture and storage, growing focus on the technologies, reducing environmental impact on natural gas production and consumption, and LNG infrastructure also having an impact with export terminals and pipelines supporting increased export capacity. There's some data sources for your reference, and if you look into it further if you wish. So again, the overall trend for natural gas is bearish, with the natural gas commodity price at least, and some of the ETFs, and the divergence has failed, so just be mindful. We're still in a bit of a free fall at the moment, and we're waiting for a sign of a reversal. So if you got value out of the video, hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and see you in a future video.